Hello, fellow AFL enjoyers. Back in a new studio, and this will
What's going on?
What's going on, guys? This will be our studio moving forward. Maybe not, every week right now, but eventually this is going to be the new home of the AFL enjoyers. Probably a different setup couch-wise. This is very, very intimate right now.
Yeah.
For the audio listeners, suss it out on YouTube as well.
We might have to put up a painting or
maybe
a pot plant.
AFL enjoyers sign, in the background or something. I don't know.
It's in the works.
Yeah, it is in the works. But yeah, look, this round of footy was, it's almost done. There's one more game left that we're not going to really acknowledge because we know the result is.
We're not going to insult our fans and ourselves by saying that Essendon has a chance.
Yeah, nah.
Having said that, if Essendon beats Gold Coast, it will be maybe the greatest underdog story of all time.
Oh, huge! And then all of a sudden, and funny you say underdog because the dogs, then sneak into the 8. But anyway.
But that won't happen, so we won't mention it.
Look, the round started off with the last game of the season for your Blues.
We did it, mate. We got there.
You did it. You got a little cheeky W, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, that win's kind of whatever. But Carlton fans can rest now. Well, we actually can't because the thing is now the season starts for Carlton.
True. Well,
so we know Tom DeConing is probably going to leave. Silvani seems like a foregone conclusion. I'm hearing Charlie Kerner to Sydney. Even there's people will squash it, but all the media's pushing Charlie Kerner to Sydney.
Yeah.
So expect us to get Errol Goulden.
Of course, in return. He was,
or the Chad. I'll take the Chad.
the Chad be all right,
Or the Lizard.
Yeah. I think you'll have to settle for a Sam Wicks, mate.
They'll probably trade him for a Florent and a Wicks.
Yeah, Florent and Wicks and a third.
And the third.
Yeah, look, hopefully that's not the case. Charlie Kerner would be a huge... Even Mackay, because it's usually Mackay the one who's been linked away.
Yeah, he's been linked to Sydney before as well. Look, Carlton has obviously had a really disappointing season.
Yeah.
They have flagged that they're going to be making changes. They're obviously going to be making some serious decisions, and there'll probably be some coaching decisions as well. So it'll be cool to see what they do. We've got a father-son in the draft as well. There's also talks about the AFL changing the father-son system moving forward, and Cody Walker is in next season's draft, potentially number 1 pick. If they dog Carlton that hard, I'll lose my mind.
Yeah, look, who knows, man. Look, I think they'll probably have moves set in place to help Tassie, is my thinking. Moving forward, is my guess. Will they do it just in time for you guys and, having a really good player over there? I don't know.
We'll see how we go with that. So that's the off-season stuff is going to be very interesting. I think Carlton's going to be one of the teams that's most heavily involved in the draft or the trade period.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual game itself, we beat Essendon.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's been good to see Walshy back last couple of weeks. I was on the pod last week, but Walshy's back now for 2 weeks, and just the difference he makes. Yeah. His run, his leadership on field is really good to see. And Frank the Tank Evans has become our version of Chuck Norris. It's so funny. I've been on record on this podcast saying that Frank Evans is the worst player to ever don the Carlton jumper. Yeah. And I was wrong.
You were wrong.
The guy can actually kick, bro.
Yeah.
When someone kicks the ball and it just spins right? Like talking about Goulden, when Goulden kicks it, it just looks like it's magic in the air. Frank the Tank kicks like that, bro.
Is Frank the Tank a thing from Carlton fans? Because his name's Francis. But
they're calling him Frank the Tank now.
They're calling him Frank the Tank.
And there's all these memes there's you don't drink cereal drinks you. They're doing all those memes.
The Chuck Norris
memes. The Chuck Norris stuff with him. So it's just... Carlton fans are so surprised that this guy's he's done a full 180. He's the number 1 Carlton ranked player in the last 4 weeks or something like that.
It's impressive, man. Yeah, he's a Brunswick boy as well, which is, is the home of the pod, actually.
Yes.
This is a little spoil, a little bit of enjoyer's lore right there.
And actually, look who's coming through the door now.
Yeah, Frankie. Yeah.
So, look, that's something that's been a bit different and exciting.
Yeah. Look, Flynn Young had a couple goals as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he'll make it. But.
Yeah, no, who knows though? But,
Billy Wilson, mate.
Billy Wilson, it's nice. At least these wins are involving, the young crop that hopefully can, round out that 22, 23 of yours.
Yeah, look, it increased the depth. It's good to see younger players come in and get a bit of the ball. And there's nothing really else Carlton can do because we've got a lot of injuries, and the only way to spin a positive on this season is to get young players playing, right? So we've seen a bit of that. Even Motlop got midfield minutes and actually played all right. I'm not buying into it because it's Essendon.
No, you can't buy into it,
But he actually had an okay game as well. So look, I think next year will be exciting because I think Carlton will go through some sort of a little mini rebuild, but there are good players to come back into this team. A big preseason is needed for every team to be successful, but 100%. If we can have some of our key players fit, then I'm not putting a cap on what Carlton can do next year. I think they should still be pushing for the 8 again. So
that's it.
Or one last thing on the Blues is they've finished the ladder on 11th, I believe.
Yes, 11th, yeah.
And I think that's exactly where they belong based on their performance this year. Because I think they're better than Saints, Port, Melbourne, Essendon, North, Richmond, West Coast. But they're not at that level of consistency and ceiling that the other teams have above them. So I actually think they're perfectly placed.
It's actually very true. Because again, above them, Sydney, Gold Coast, you're not at that level yet.
No.
Even though Sydney had a horrible start to the season, they ended very strong.
Yep.
So,
on Essendon, I don't know.
Yeah. No, look, with Essendon, all the injuries, obviously, but at least they've had a chance to blood a few youngsters. That's the big positive. Like Angus Clark has had an extended run at it. What's the name? Was there another debutant this week? I can't remember that. It was all right.
There's he played a second game at Unwin.
Yeah, there we go. Unwin. Kako had had his couple goals in this game. Look, there's a bit. Obviously, a lot left to be desired with the season for them. But look, at least they had opportunity to blood some youngsters, and hopefully they can actually get a fit list next year. Because otherwise, there's a lot of decent players there, obviously. So anyway, they have another game. Good luck to them.
They're going to be limping over the line for that game, man.
100%, man.
You're going to go. Your season's effectively done. You got a quick game turnaround to play on a Wednesday night in Gold Coast, and your opposition is fighting for a top 8 spot.
Yeah, and I've just realised they can't actually move above they can't move above Melbourne because they're 22% down on them,
which they don't want to.
Yeah, they don't want to either. So anyway, it's going to be easy result for that one. Anyway, we'll move on to the Friday night game, and Collingwood. Almost.
Yeah.
There was a world where Melbourne were ahead.
Big world.
And Collingwood could have dropped out of the 8 entirely if I think GWS had won and Hawthorn had won, something along those lines. Obviously, Hawthorn lost in the end, so that didn't really matter that they didn't lose.
The big thing is, we'll talk about after with Gold Coast, but look, Melbourne came to play, and one thing I will say is, I think all the teams this round that weren't playing for anything showed up. Yeah, in general. Like North showed up, Saints showed up,
Port obviously,
Port showed up,
and that's great. I think it leaves the fans, at the end of the season feeling, okay, it's not as bad as we thought. Because North at the end of last year, I think we had 2 60, 70 point, maybe even more losses to round out the season against Hawthorn and Bulldogs when they had something to fight for and we clearly didn't. But at least for Melbourne fans, they must be thinking, look, mate, we almost got the Pies and. Everyone loves to beat the Pies,
Yeah,
shame they couldn't do it.
The whole AFL world was against the Pies for Melbourne. It wasn't enough to get them done in the end, but I found it fascinating watching Collingwood. Usually they're so composed as a team. And you could just see the pressure and how it was impacting the way they were playing. And some of these misses in front of goal was fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
It was almost like it was written in the stars that they're going to lose. But they managed to get there in the end, and it's probably, given the season that they've had, it's deserving, I think, that they finished top 4. Not that I'm happy about it.
Well, look, if you look at their last, month or something, you would think that this is the worst top 4 team in ages. But that dominance they had in the middle of the season is what, dragged them along to this point. It took to the very last round to confirm the top 4, which is, crazy considering how amazing they were during the middle of the season. They're unplayable.
That's true. And this win is extremely significant, not just because it gets in the top 4 spot, but for the confidence of actually winning a game and winning a close one.
100%.
They're going into the final series now going, should we actually our last game we won. We did it.
Yeah, and, one of their players who's been a focal point, whether in the midfield or whether he goes forward, Jordan De Goey, finally has a good game. He hasn't had a good game in I don't think he's had a good game this year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, in and out of the team, injured.
Yeah, exactly. So
he's the live wire for them. I think he's the one that's going to provide some support to Dacos and Pendlebury and these types.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. For Melbourne, it's a bit of a it's a bit of a weird season, disappointing season. it's going to be interesting where they go with their trades.
It's going to be interesting who coaches them.
Yeah, true, 100%. Yeah, there's a few out there. There's a few ex-premiership coaches, waiting in the wings. Adam Simpson, Longmire.
I think
Buckley Hurd is people that they've been talked about.
I think Simpson and Longmire I think have ruled themselves out. Buckley's going for it hard. It's funny when you watch like Buckley on like one of those footy shows and he's like actively selling himself on the footy show. It's like
fair enough, man. What better place, man?
Jeez.
Yeah. We'll move on to probably the shock of the round is Port turning up for Hinkley's last game. Sending him out on a smile, sending Travis Boak out. On a W. That makes me feel all right that Boakey goes out on the wing.
Yeah.
Ken going out on the wing, I'm not quite as pleased with. But, shout out to him as a coach, man. Like, I think he's been to 4 prelims.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure 4 prelims. But I think he's got the most games coached without making it into a grand final, which is not a great, not a great one there. But look, yeah, it's a, memorable coaching career, I think, for him. And Boak has been an absolute gun, for years. So
everyone talks very highly of Travis Boak. I've never really heard any player, any person involved in football that has said anything bad about him. They say he's the ultimate professional, and at the end of the day, he's like 55 years old, so he's clearly good. He's clearly got like acupuncture, Zorko recovery.
Yeah, 100%. He's been working on it. So yeah.
Look, Port Adelaide, this is an amazing victory. I mean, they obviously were spurred by the fact that they wanted to send off their coach and one of their greats with a win, and they didn't have anything else to play for. Well, but that's a lot to play for, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
But I feel like it's not. And the other thing we'll talk about is like the umpires. Usually I don't talk about the umpires, but actually...
But you actually need to talk about it in this game because there was some disgusting calls, man.
Yeah, it just felt like everything went against Gold Coast.
Yeah.
But you've got to be good enough to beat the umpires. And the team that we hope Gold Coast were this year was a team that has matured to the point where they can take these situations and find a way to still get the win, right? When they're trying to be a finals team for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And Collingwood, even though they won, because they didn't win by a big margin, Gold Coast still had the platform to be top 4 team, not just top 8, top 4. Yeah. Give themselves a genuine chance at the flag, and they've lost to Port Adelaide. I mean, Carlton smashed these guys by 60 points last week. So disappointing. And Anderson, who I've praised all year, and Rao, who's had a great season, they didn't show up, man.
No, well, it was the other midfielder from Port Adelaide, or the other midfielder, but in that other midfield, we had Butters, who's just your boy.
He just, 191 Supercoach points, but that's just like a one-man mission. Yeah. What a freak of a player, man.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, for him, like, there must have been some extra motivation in this game because you don't pull up that type of performance without, having almost like a personal vendetta against Gold Coast, or I don't know, is he trying to sell himself to the Victorian clubs one last time?
Maybe.
Or like, could this be his last game for Port?
And
he just goes and requests a trade.
Could you imagine?
That'd be huge. I think there's a chance of that.
Yeah, I don't think he will. Man, imagine if he left.
Bruh. That would be like, so Boak, Hinkley gone, that's, the coach and, the spiritual, one of the spiritual centers of the team in Boak. And then all of a sudden you lose your best player. Yeah. It would be a calamity, I think, for Port. But Horn Francis probably will request the trade.
Back to North.
He'll request the trade to Adelaide, you know what I mean? So I want to be on a winning team,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look, what it goes to show? When a team really shows up, they can beat anyone. And I think the biggest factor that influences wins and performance is just effort. And that's just proof there. Like a lot of injured players, it's a half of a sample team. Yeah. They came out and beat a team that's trying to play finals just with the spirit. Bogey was like, half our players can't even walk, but they managed to do it. The coach actively said, I don't even know how we won that game. Yeah. So that's a performance for the ages, but it just goes to show when you bring, like we've talked about it, men against men, when you bring that intensity and that pressure and that want to just know we are going to win this, you win. Yeah. And I just wonder why teams can't do that all the time. Obviously, it takes a big toll on your body. Yeah. But if you're up for it, you're up for it, man. So there's never an excuse for a team to get smashed, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Now it's just for Gold Coast. Now they got to step up now, man. They got to step up and get.
At the end of the day, they'll win, right? And they're going to play finals for the first time.
Yeah,
but it could have been so much better for them.
That's the thing,
and so much better for Australia.
100%, man. For Australia, jeez.
For to get rid of Collingwood is what I'm saying.
Oh, true. Out of the top four. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Your boys. Another team that showed up.
Yeah, another team that showed up. And again, so I did, in place of the regular pod, I did a North Melbourne episode last week. And pretty much the same thing that happened last week, sort of rings true in this game, where I'm reminded that we have amazing talent on this team. And, that when the effort's there, we can win games. So, look, Sherry again goes out and just, 12 tackles this time. He's just a monster. Cooper Trembath, 3 times 3 goals.
Is that the first ever I saw?
I don't know, actually.
There was some stat that showed he was in the headlines.
But if you look at, average goals for this season, it's like him at 4th, and it's like Jeremy Cameron. Like, he's up there with
the greats,
elite,
mate.
With the greats, with the elite, key forwards in the game. So, look, that's amazing that we finally found a running partner with Larky. Shame he couldn't share the field with Larky. Those 3 games were without Larky. So, hopefully, he can do a similar job with, Sue Vin. But yeah, I think it's, again, just a positive way to end the season. George Wardlaw is, showing that, he needs to be in the midfield all the time. And when he's fit, he is a great player. It's the concern with him is concussions and just, him being, a threat to himself, really, with the way he goes about it. But he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's an amazing footballer.
Yeah. Paul Curtis, again, another 3 goals in this game. So we're happy with that. But no, look, we'll probably talk a bit more about, teams, and I'll definitely talk more about North, and the review of the season. But yeah, just this game is a nice little, again, like last week, a reminder. We have some decent players. Adelaide, in a game where they didn't need a win, they still won it. Thilthorpe at one point, he was just he just dominates the air, man. It's unbelievable the way he goes about it, and that's going to be huge for the finals. Ben Keys stepped up in the absence of Rankin.
Talk about Rankin a bit.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about Rankin.
Look, it's so disappointing that one of the league's best players, and I think, I don't know if this is the case, but I feel like Adelaide is maybe the people's team this season.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where, no one really will have an issue if they win it. A bit of an underdog coming in this season. They need Rankin to win the flag. He is that's the player you bring in to win you a grand final.
Yeah, that's the
the Norm Smith third quarter. I'm going to take the game by the balls and make it mine.
Yeah, that's like the Bobby Hill, the Kyle Lohman.
Yeah.
And better. Yeah.
So the fact that he's not going to, can he still play the grand final if they lose?
If they lose. Yeah.
Tactical loss.
Yeah, no, maybe. He can't be doing that.
It's just shit from a neutral perspective. Obviously, an Adelaide perspective to not have him part of the final. So that's pretty disappointing. Yeah. But it was interesting to watch all the narrative of how Adelaide was trying to find a way to get the weeks down.
Yeah.
The comparison to the Snoop Dogg and what messaging are you showing for the AFL?
Yeah, they really pulled out all the stops. But here's something that I thought of, right? And thoughts on this, right? So obviously he used the slur. I don't know what it was. I don't think it's been, publicized what he said. But so a slur is a slur. If it was a racist slur, what would your thoughts be? Because my initial thought is, if someone was to use a racial slur, they should borderline be banned from the sport, right? So 4 weeks, for a slur, of a sexuality slur, it almost doesn't seem like a lot, depending on how you equate that to a racist slur. I know this is a bit of a weird conversation. It's not the usual AFL enjoyers chat, but do you get what I'm saying? How do you equate those two things?
Well, this is the thing. The reason why people kind of knew that he was done for is because there's been precedent about how the AFL judges homophobic slurs, right? Which was the 4 to 6 week, 5 weeks. I think Neil Bullen got 4 or 5 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
So they set a precedent. Now, I think we all agree that stuff shouldn't be in the game, but the punishment is what should be, is what is being discussed, and it is an interesting discussion on what the consequences of hate speech or this type of talk should have, because there's also the physical side of the game where people will knock each other out and not even get that punishment.
Yeah, true.
So it's a tough. Obviously, the AFL is making an example of the players, and I'm suspicious. Not that I'm in the AFL, that a lot worse is potentially said on the field at times.
Well, that's the thing.
But
we don't know.
But it's not potentially homophobic or racial, and I just wonder whether they let that stuff go. But then they single in on this stuff, and I wonder about that as well. So look, I don't know at all.
Yeah. How much did Tex get back in the day when he had his racist stuff going on? I can't remember. I need to search it up. I need to do.
I think it was a big punishment. I mean, he even did like an apology and like was crying like he did a full thing.
Yeah. So so obviously that they equate that as worse, which I think is probably right, but it's an interesting conversation, as you said. Things that are not racist or homophobic slurs, like what are they doing? When people are talking about each other's families and this and that.
Yeah, and that probably goes unnoticed.
Yeah,
or unpunished, maybe not unnoticed.
Yeah,
and that's speculation, but that's going to be fiery first final.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Look, they've got a little bit of a rivalry going as well, like in previous years where they've had close games.
But I mean, obviously that whole situation is just disappointing because to not have your best players out there for those reasons, I mean, that's just shit.
Yeah. All right, we'll jump into Richmond versus Geelong, and so look, as expected, Geelong do their thing. The only disappointing thing is I feel like Cameron's got to do more, bro. Like we're wanting 100 goals here, and
look, he didn't kick anything last week. 4 goals, 4, and I think the game before last week he kicked a lot of points as well.
Yeah,
so it was actually the shots at goal has been there.
Yeah, like it's been on.
It's been on. It's actually been on, man. Anyway, look, it's done now, and it's probably it's not a good thing for us because we would have loved to see that.
Yeah,
but at least it's not close enough now where it's a discussion point for the finals.
True.
And potentially that's a good thing that it's not a distraction for Geelong because they're not going to be looking for him when they're trying to win a game.
Yeah, 100%.
So I just wonder whether that actually helps them stay focused.
Probably. Look, regardless of him actually, he hasn't made the 100, but if you look at the season, he's 83, Ben King, the next highest, 62, Gunston, 62. Ben King might get a couple goals, I reckon, in this game, but at this point, he's 20 goals ahead. And it'll probably end up as 15.
And this guy was playing like on the wing at some point.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man.
It's insane.
Good on him, man.
Was he halfback at some point?
Probably, bro. He'll probably still win the Coleman at halfback. But yeah,
look, this was complete and utter domination for a half.
Yeah,
like complete insane. I mean, 14 goals, 19 as well, mind you.
Yeah.
And then maybe the Cats put the Q in the rack a bit. I think Bailey Smith was rested in the third quarter.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair. Look, against Richmond, they're. I think they can probably walk out of this season happy. With the way it's sort of gone, considering
they've had a great season.
I agree.
They've had an amazing season
for a team that's second last. They've got their own pick. They've got North Peak to look forward to, and they've seen something from some of the young guys and some of the older guys as well. Still, have enough talent and enough.
How many wins did they get, Richmond?
I think was it 4 or 5? 5. So 5, and then North went ahead of them because we had the draw. So we had 5 and a draw.
5 wins is a pretty good season for a team that wasn't meant to win any.
Exactly.
And lost 5 or 6 of their senior players.
Yeah. And I think, look, the cool thing for them is the fact that they've got senior players who have been in premierships and they can, impart knowledge on the young guys for years to come. So I think, you got to be pretty content with their season. And now, so I think, we'll move on to the next game, I reckon, because it's another game, another domination.
It's probably the least relevant game.
Yeah, 100%, man. Sydney ended the season strong. Shout out to them. Goulden, Mills, Heaney, Warner. You have all your best players in for the season. All of a sudden, you start winning games. Like, what a surprise!
Look, that'd be an empty feeling. Being a Sydney fan, knowing that you could potentially do a lot of damage in September, or at least be up there, and still nowhere near it.
Yeah, true. I think, it's. Did it take? Maybe it was like, so. Obviously, they had injuries, but did it take Dean Cox that long to get his game plan all sorted? Is that what it is?
I'm not sure. I mean, they stormed home. I think they won 6 of their last 8. So. Look, you can't replace players like Goulden. You know what I mean?
No.
It's like no matter, you just can't replace players like that. So
he's pretty close to a 1-of-1 in the way he plays footy. You know, the fact that he can play like almost 100% of the game time on the wing if he wanted to, and he can go inside, get the ball, and he's a great kick. Like there's not many players like that. So yeah, and even Mills as well. He showed his worth coming in, playing, you know, in the defense, and, you know, distributing well, and just going in and getting the hard ball. You know, like So, and you know, Grundy, his second half of the season was just like
insane. Do you think he'll be All Australian? Because I think they'll do 2 rucks this year.
I think it's fair. Look, I'd love a Gaundy. You know, do a Grundy and Gawn, you know, super coach situation, because, you know, that was the traditional, you know, ruck combination.
Yeah, it was.
But then the way Sherry ended the season, it's just like, are we just going to overlook how dominant he is and the way he racks up the tackle numbers?
He'd be very stiff to miss. He'd be very stiff.
I agree. So it's a 3-horse race for hopefully 2 spots. Hopefully they do 2 rucks.
I think they should.
They haven't done it in years.
I think they should.
These guys are that far and away, you know, like of their peers, and, you know, statistically in the competition, the way they, you know, impact games, like they got to be there.
And even to a lesser extent, Witts has had another good season. He's a bit underrated, but he's getting a bit more notice in the media. Luke Jackson's had his moments.
Yeah.
Darcy Cameron's been good all year. So
Luke Jackson could sneak in. He could be the, you know, because he can play ruck and forward.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to see him there, because I feel like the other ruckmen have been more consistent.
Yeah.
But Luke Jackson's more of a point of difference. So we'll see how that goes.
On to GWS and St Kilda now.
Another team that showed up.
Yeah, another team that showed up. You know, a player who's, you know, barely been cited this year. Wilson goes and kicks 5.
How has he done that, mate?
Like, I don't know, man.
He was playing in the VFL.
Legit, he was playing in the VFL, racking up numbers, and now, you know, a little bit of forward, a little bit of wing, you know, goes and does his thing and gets 5, and good way for him to end the season. And, you know, hopefully that you know, gets the you know, a bit of respect on his name back, and he can actually integrate himself into the squad again.
Yeah, the kid's a superstar. Like, I'm not buying any of this stuff at all. I mean, I've been a massive supporter of him.
Yeah.
And he joins, like, Wanganeen Miller resigns. He backs himself in and the club in. So, you know, they've got a couple of nice young players, and I think a lot of people are linked to him. Like Luke Ryan is linked to St Kilda now.
Liam
Ryan. Sorry,
I was say Luke. That'd be a great pickup from actually Luke Ryan. They need a bit of, you know, sturdiness in the defense.
Yeah, sorry. So Liam Ryan. So Saints might be okay, might not.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty fair assessment, I think, there, Georgie. Look, I will say they have a bit of a brigade of fleet-footed mids coming through, like Hugo Garcia, like Darcy Wilson,
the Pooh,
like the Pooh, Mr. Pooh. Travaglia even. We haven't seen too much of Travaglia, but, you know, he's a, you know, defender / mid who's, you know, he's a good runner. You know, so look, I think there is a nucleus of young dudes.
Tyroos has a nice second half of the season since he started playing.
Who's that other guy that's getting paid $2 million or something? Who's all right? That guy that, I don't know, no one's been talking about him much, but, you know, that guy Nazaya.
He's
as well.
He's a bit of a fringe player.
Yeah, a bit of a fringe kid. You know, I think he's, again, another one of those fleet-footed, you know, young mids. You know, so yeah, all of a sudden it's not looking too bad. But I will say, we didn't have an opportunity to talk about the Nazaya re-signing because it happened during last week. He's going to be there for 2 years and then he's gone. Unless they're a top 4 fancy next year or the year after.
Yeah.
Like, they really need to prove to him that, you know, there's going to be sustained success.
I just wonder, I reckon they can do it.
What, as in keep him? Or actually
I think they can. I think they can jump. But they need, what do they need? They need their senior players to stand up more.
Yeah.
And I think they need their players to take a step forward. Like players like Mitch Owens, who I've talked about in the past, just hasn't really done much. Like they need Max King to actually play a season of football.
Yeah.
Liam Henry came in, been injured, hasn't really done much. Some of these players could really improve and just take them to the next level, but I just feel like they're always just stagnant. A couple of big fishes like Tom DeConning, will he make them a lot better?
Yeah, interesting. Look, I think it depends. Like if he comes in, is Marshall going to stay?
Probably, you know,
because Marshall, I don't think so either. I think Marshall's gone, but I think, you know, Marshall could have been a decent, you know, forward / ruck. He could be, if he stayed, the best like forward ruck, maybe second to Luke Jackson. But, you know, he'd be up there as that type of player. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting for them, and they do need to rise up so they can keep Naz is my thinking. I don't know, unless this impression that we have that Naz really wants to go home is just not really the case. Maybe he's unbothered. Maybe he enjoys playing at Saints.
Well, he hasn't let the contract talks affect his performance. In fact, he's gone to a level that we wouldn't have expected at the start of the season. Yeah. We knew he was good, but he's basically become the best player in the comp.
Yeah, it's insane. It's actually insane.
He's the most main character of football I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, look, and now all of a sudden, the actual, who would have thought that the conversation would be there, Naz or Nick Dacos?
Yeah.
Because now, honestly, like, I think he's better than Nick.
He's played better than Nick.
He has. 100%.
This season.
Yeah, 100%. So, I don't think the fact that that's a conversation is unbelievable.
You're right. And they really could have won this game. I mean, Zach Jones had a shot, 30 out and missed. And what was the end-up margin? 7-11.
11, yeah. 7-11.
7-11. Giants had to win it, just scraped through. I'm not sure if their top 8 spot was in jeopardy.
Yeah, but look, they've secure a home final.
Yeah, which is
for them.
It's massive.
Yeah. So they end up 5th by the look of it. So, yeah.
We'll see what they do this year. I have no idea what to expect from this team.
Yeah. But look, something like, we'll move on to the next game, and the Freo. They, all of a sudden, that's probably like some of the most speed, guts, guile that they've played with this, just about this entire year.
Yeah.
Like this is what they need to be doing, man. And they expose the doggies hard.
Yeah.
That bad defense that, everyone's been talking about.
Yeah.
It's come to light now. Freo just did, was it 8 goals in a row? In the second?
I think so.
It was 8.
Either side of halftime as well. Look, I'm very happy Freo won this for a couple of reasons. First of all, Fifis,
yes.
Yeah, Nathan Fyfe's last run. Man. I'm happy that he gets a chance to at least play a final.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
So that's the first one. Second of all, Freo have a very good record against the top 8. I think they've beaten pretty much all the top 8 teams.
Yeah, and if that's the case, they can give us some competitive finals games.
They should win a final.
That'd be. Look, for them to win a final, I think would be big.
Yeah.
Who are they going to end up versing, man? It's looking like the Hawks, unless. Wait a second. Actually, it might be Gold Coast. It's either Hawks or Gold Coast.
So Gold Coast will win, and they will
probably boost their percentage.
They'll go to 7th.
Yeah.
So they'll verse Gold Coast,
mate. Freo. So
they should beat Gold Coast, man.
Yeah, 100%.
They should beat Gold Coast.
It actually works out pretty good for them, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, they're exciting, man. Like I think you got to give Murphy Reid the rising star.
I agree. Like that goal that he kicked.
Oh, stunning, man. Like I think. Shout out to Dino, who's not here today. He's doing some scouting missions in Sydney or something. Murphy Reid is just unbelievable, man. Like he was touted to be a midfielder, but he's gone forward and he's been just exactly what they need. It's like basically have a slower version of Shai Bolton, based the way I see him. You know what I mean? And just as skillful. I think Dino said that he thought he's probably the most skillful player in the game right now.
He's very skillful and he just makes the right decisions.
Yeah, smart. Smart beyond his years. He's been great. How many goals did he end up kicking? Was just the one. He kicked the one, but he had some goal assists in there as well. So, yeah.
Freo was not touted to win this. Dogs heavy favourites.
Yes,
and they come in. Not at MCG, but at Marvel, where the Dogs are meant to be the best, right? And really, they smash them, man. I know that it was close margin. The Dogs steamed home in the last quarter, Bont with the Superman quarter. But that was very one-sided for a lot of the game. And just the power of Freo was impressive. Your mate, Voss. How many don't argue? Like every highlight was just him just like slapping someone across the chest. I think he did it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but he's just the what's the word I'm looking for, man? The tenacity. He's got that he's got a bit of moxie about him.
He's got moxie, man. Tracy 3 goals, Amish 3 goals, Voss 3 goals. That's the spread you want, mate.
That's every Freo coach's dream. You know, when they set up the team, they want an even spread out of all those guys. And look, I think the only one who we've had questions about is Amos because he's been quiet at points. But there's clear firepower there. Yeah, and I think Tracy specifically, he's the gun of the lot. The ability to take a contested mark.
He's their best. Yeah.
Yeah. The tackling, the fact that both him and Voss tackle. I think is huge. They're both hard nuts as well.
No, it was impressive. And the other thing is Hayden Young's back, and he didn't play a full game, 65 minutes, but man, what a point of difference.
Yeah.
Big, key moments, real high meters gained clearance player. He just gets involved in the scoring chains.
Yeah. He's their Ed Richards.
Yeah, he's their Ed Richards. And he's another player they need to be firing, and so getting that game time in him is massive.
Yeah, 100%. It is risky, but it worked out well.
It worked. They needed him. They needed him 100%. There wasn't one of those games where they would have won necessarily without him, especially early. Dogs, a pretty good team to miss, but they just got too much firepower in certain areas, but not enough balance, I guess. One of those teams.
I think with them, it's that's definitely true, and they have 6 or 7 players in the top 100 or something. I don't know if there was a tweet.
Player ratings,
player ratings. And look, that's that's bad. It looks bad on the coaching staff, but at the same time, they won 14 games and they're missing out.
Yeah, it is unlucky.
So it's actually there's a bit of both where it's it's unlucky, bad coaching, unlucky. Where do you find the balance in that, conversation?
I think they clearly know where their weaknesses are, but it's a shame to not be able to capitalize on such firepower in the forward half and the midfield. I mean, Bont and Richards and Kennedy and Libba and Fraser, 3 goals from Fraser again. I mean, insane, right?
Yeah, and then also, mate, the brand new shiny new toy forward, Croft. He looks great, man.
It's true.
He would have made it. He would have had a say in the final series. He would have played. So it's at least Doggies fans must just feel
such a wasted opportunity.
Man. 100%.
But the team that was going to miss out, it was a race of 9. No matter who it was, they were going to be disappointed.
Yeah, true. It had to be someone. Unfortunately,
they just didn't win enough games against the best teams, the Dogs. That's the thing. That's why I think Freo is more deserving, because they won some of those big games, and that gives me more confidence that they can actually take it to the best.
Yeah, but it bodes well for, I guess, the neutral. I would say,
and it was good to see Darcy get absolutely pantsed.
I know.
We
it's
thought
a reminder that he's human.
Yeah, he's actually. Oh wow, someone can actually go 1-on-1 against him and actually beat him. There you go.
Yeah, and actually, good shout out there, man. Alex Pearce. That's probably his best game of the year. I'd say, nullifying the man, we thought who couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, and Darcy he's good for a goal game easily, right? He always find one.
I think he's only gone goalless twice in the
last couple
years.
Yeah, and
it's insane.
Yeah, so that was critical.
And even Norton got he got well held by Brennan Cox for most of the game as well. We'll jump into the last game now.
Fight for top 4. Brisbane comes out on top.
Yep.
I think they're primed now. This top 4 finish, I think it's primed now for the Lions. So I think they've got to be favourite.
Yeah. Look, that's fair. Look, it's gonna be interesting now. I think Neil comes back in, and he's a very easy player to integrate because he's a gun. But even without him, their midfield was so much more powerful than the Hawks. And
that's their weakness. That's why we talk about Will Day so much. Not just because he's a great player, but he feels a bit of a gaping hole in the Hawks midfield. I mean, if you're comparing Nash and Warpool and these type of players to McCluggage and Dunkley and the Baileys that run through it,
it's a no contest, man. It's a no contest. But
look, £5 the end for Brisbane got it done. Close match. Credit to the Hawks. Yeah, they had their moments.
It was a close match, but it was 11-23 to 11-13.
Yeah.
So I think it sort of shows that it could not.
That's what Brisbane does, though. Yeah, they love a point. They had 8 points before McCluggage kicked their first goal. 0-8.
It was and look, it's funny because I was watching with my dad at that point, and he's like, "Oh mate, they're gonna lose this now." But I'm thinking to myself, man, it's most of the time, if as a North Melbourne fan, if you kick bad at the start, you've lost. But for Brisbane, they're relentless, man.
The firepower of this team is, we talk about it every week, but just to have Cam Rayner being able to drop, punt, stab pass it 70 metres. He's so powerful, man. Bailey's running through. Cameron's kicked a couple of goals last couple of weeks, getting his form back. They're special to watch, man. And the fact that they take it through the corridor, Zorko. I mean, he's always been a great player, but has he always been this much of a menace with the ball?
Look, I think I swear his best years have been this last 2-3 years, man. He's been just the ability to he'll hit a 15-meter kick and it opens up the entire game.
Yeah, and it's non-stop. It's like if you don't watch the corridor, they'll go through. I love the fact that Brisbane play like that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think he must just see it quick, and then no one has a chance to stop it because we know what's going to happen. But he's just forward thinking, and look, and your boy McCluggage, man, filling in the absence of Neil admirably. He's got to be all Australian, man.
Oh, this is absolute lock, man.
I think he's probably a top 5-10 player in the game now.
No, he is.
Yeah, it's just a huge rise. It's taken a while.
I think he's got to be top 5 mid.
Easy top 5 mid. Yeah, like who are we going to go ahead of him? Bont
Butters Dacos. Fuck shit, there's only leaves one more spot.
But then
who's
do you chuckle Lucky Neil there?
Not this season.
Not this
McCluggage is the best Brisbane mid this year.
Yeah. Yep. All right. That's fair. I'm happy with that. And then
look, it's hard. I mean,
I reckon top 5 mid is fair, to be honest with you, because you could argue that he's been better than Dacos this year. The ability to score goals in games where they need to win, and rack it up as well and use it well. Yeah, it's unbelievable, man. I think. I was going to say we could do tips, but we can't really do tips.
No, we'll do the tips. We'll do the tips.
We don't know what the last.
No, there's only one game to tip, mate. It's Gold Coast, isn't it?
Gold Coast. Yeah, you're right. Gold
That's
Coast,
who we're tipping.
Gold Coast versus that. So we're tipping Gold Coast.
We're tipping Gold Coast.
If we're to project in the, we'll do a little bit of a preview of the finals. We've got Adelaide, Collingwood. We've got Geelong, Brisbane. So those 2 games are confirmed. Look,
I actually think Pies are going to win.
Ooh.
I'm scared.
You reckon there's a little bit of a
second wind
for them? Okay. Look, I think Adelaide's still got to win, bro. Come on, man. Come on. I don't know. It's interesting. Look, I don't even. It's one of those things I don't even want to tip because I just want to enjoy the experience and see what happens. Because it is finals footy and everything sort of changes.
Oh, so we've got one more spot for our tipping comp. Let's have a look at the tipping comp because it's effectively done now. Our tipping comp.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Can I bring it up? Whoever brings it up first, mate. Are you going? Where did you? I didn't realize you can access it through the app, bro. The AFL app.
Come on, bro.
Bro, I'm behind. All right, so I guess is this
Lana S. Best all year and can't lose.
Can't lose. So how much is it? What does she end up on?
159 tips, so she'll get 160. Next best is Bockhole, who's been up there, 157.
Yeah.
Fish and Crips, 156. Ed B with a random name, 155. Kiara T, 155.
She dropped off, man.
Callum S. Calamari, 154 has been around. Show me your tips, 154. Paul Curtis Taylor, 153.
I never understood that reference. That's Jason Y, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never understood it until you said it like that. Bro, I'm slow, man. I'm slow.
I love it. Mr. Incredible with a K, 153. And rounding out the top 10, Don V.
So look, there's some people that we know in there. So Don is Dino's bro. Show Me Your Tips is a work colleague of mine, Mr. Incredible, also a work colleague, and Kiara as well. Yeah. So look,
I'm going to shout out Rose from work, 153.
153.
And Manny from work finished 14 on 151. So
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, well, look, shout out to you guys and, jumping on board. And top 3 get T-shirts. Probably might even extend that, to be honest with you.
Reach out to us.
Yes.
You got to be a subscriber.
You have to be a subscriber. So Lana S.
Eugene, and Nathan.
Comment on this video. Let us know that you are subscribed and you're watching this. Because I think a lot of people could just randomly join this comp. You know what I mean? So, but nah, look, we'll run it. We're going to have to run a printing press or something. We'll figure something out, Matt. There'll be fresh AFL Enjoys t-shirts hot off the press for these people. So
that's it, man.
I think we'll end it off there. Hope you like the look of the new studio. We're going to be working out the kinks slowly. But yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank you. See you soon.